send that in with your application, showing all the places you've tried, and keep a record. Yes, what I'm saying is just to keep a record of that, and then send in your application without the signature, but at least you've got that you've seen X amount of or tried to.
See, Health Canada's even bothering the doctors that do sign.
Well, aware of this, which is why we need to educate doctors more, and we still need to inundate them with applications to show. This leads into actually activism work, because you have the right to use medical marijuana.
Well, this is why doctors won't sign, because Health Canada is hassling, and the college of
I know this.
doctors and surgeons is hassling the doctors too, telling them not to sign.
Well, then when you have a meeting with your doctor, an appointment, discuss these things and write down what the doctor said, like I say, and then you add this all up, keep copies of this, and include that in a letter with your stuff when you send in your application, and explain that, because again, this will benefit you if you ever have to go to court. Then now we have documentation. If enough people do this, the media will pick up on this, and then it becomes another problem for the government.
The fellow in Kelowna that'll process that for $400, named Dr. Canberra, they won't give you production permit because he doesn't trust people not to sell with their additional amounts on what they're permitted. But he'll look you over, and if you're legitimate, he'll definitely give you what you need for your card, for your exemption.
Well, I've got mine.
In the back, yes.
Yeah, I think what Nate's trying to point out is what you have to do is you have to document your efforts, right? Whether your doctor's willing or not, you still have to document your efforts. To the courts, that's called due diligence.
Well, and Kirk,
right? You prove that you've made an effort to go through all the processes, right?
So he's collecting that data too, so then.
Go ahead, yeah.
I wanted to specifically address some of the concerns that you had there. It sounded like you were talking about the doctor's office at Workplace Mall.
Yes.
Well, I know that there are doctors there who have signed. A lot of the doctors, they don't really want to publicize it.
Anybody else? Yes.
What's the difference between medical marijuana and what's classified medical?
Well, medical would be legal, I guess, if you want to put it that way, or just of higher quality, as opposed to street dirt weed, shag, as opposed, just quality that's been grown well, flushed properly, organic in a lot of cases.
It's like,
Can you tell us how you flush properly? Get that, get those.
Yeah, just stop feeding 2 weeks before harvest and just keep throwing water through them until it comes out clear and clean. And a good way to tell if the weed is flushed properly is it should burn down to a white ash and be very soft feeling, no grit to it at all. If it's black and crusty and doesn't burn, the weed's not flushed properly.
Well, one thing I found that really helped, I've used marijuana for 30-some years, just for recreational purposes, but I moved in to take care of my father rather than put him into a care home, and I spent the last 6 years of his life taking care of him. And I found that coming out of the closet, when the health nurse came and said, do you need help? Do you need respite? How are you coping? I would say, big bag of pot, the neighbors. All the neighbors were elderly, they were growing it for me because they understood how important it was to keep my dad out of the home. So just to be open and honest with people and say, yeah, I smoke, yeah, I'm an EFLA student, yeah, I volunteer for cancer. Let them know that that's not all of who you are, it's just a small part of your entire world.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I mean, the same thing where I live, Mount Bernie, everybody knows that I'm the pot guy, so to speak, in the town. But I mean, I'm a member of the golf club, I fly remote control airplanes, and I'm involved with Port Alberta Toy Run. I mean, we're all over the community doing all kinds of things. I'm a good personal friend of the mayor's. Actually, we do stuff in the toy run together. I talk to him, I smoke weed, he doesn't care, it's all good. So yeah, people should, medical pot is legal in this country, there's no reason to hide your usage or any other thing. Stand up, be loud, be proud.
But does your permit allow you to smoke outside your residence? I'm not sure.
I can smoke pot anywhere people can smoke cigarettes at this time right now. They haven't changed that at all. I'm just very respectful if there's kids around, or I try to stand downwind of people, get out of the way. I don't push it on people, but obviously as soon as I walk inside, I reek. hey, that's just the way it goes. You know, I don't consider it a bad smell.
Here's something I wanna put to you, like do this in a neutral way rather than say this in the media. You think people exploit their permits and grow more than they need to so they can sell it?
I think some people do. I don't think so much as growing more than they
I'm not
than they're
against that.
allowed to,
If they're-
but they
if
might
they're-
have some extra.
If they're ill, they probably don't have the regular, I'm not opposed to them selling the extra, but my impression is probably lots of
No,
people
police here
grow
were
more than they
complaining about
require.
that recently.
I
That
mean,
is a fact of life.
I believe that there's, you know,
That is happening now. Police, it was in the paper saying, yeah, we believe everything. is
Well, I
okay.
don't, yeah, that's why.
well, it's always, the police always say, they don't ask the other side of who else, you know, they don't ask the growers what we say, right? But I always keep,
True.
I couldn't expand my number of plants simply because A, I don't have the space, or B, the hydro, I'm maxed out. So I can't add any more lamps, and I don't really have the room. So I'm still within my 35 plant limit. Now I've grown pot for almost 30 years, not all legally. And I can assure you, 30 plants in dirt, large plants in the house is a lot to look after. If you know how to grow weed, I mean, it's a huge time consuming task. It takes 5 to 7 hours a day. So to grow really high end pot, you know, again, some people, I know of some people who are selling a little bit. Sure they are, because they're offsetting their hydro bills. Because we don't get any help from the government with no tax rebate or, you know, and the hydro just keeps going up and up and up. Now, we got a 2-tiered system here in BC. My hydro bill is close to $300 a month.
Can you tell me, like on the permit, does it tell you how much pot you can grow?
Oh yes, 35 plants. It's based on how many grams per day. They have a formula at Health Canada, so if you're at 5 grams per day, you would have 25 plants. 7 grams per day is 35, 10 would be 50.
So that sounds like a lot of plants to me, but maybe I just don't.
Well, you know, it actually, it's not, because they don't really allow for cloning and for crop failure and these other things and all the things that, all the other hardships that prevail any gardener. So sometimes it is, and actually for the case it isn't.
When you're going to your doctor, how do you determine the amount that you might need?
I think it's more, you tell your doctor, explain to them how much you use. So I think putting in for 5 grams a day is reasonable. You could, don't say, I don't always use 5 grams per day, but sometimes I feel I might have to, or when I'm out of town, I take a little extra with, you know, there's those types of things to consider.
Because I don't want to underdo it. I basically might go through a quarter a year, just for stress situations. But you know, I don't want them restricting me to that either.
Well, you have to allow for plant management too. If you get too many males, if you're seeding, then you gotta get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah, if you're growing from seed as opposed to clone too. that's
Basically,
another-
5 grams a day is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
What strain works for you? There's some plants involved in that too.
Yeah, well, that's from personal experimentation. And, you know, if you could find pot, and actually from a reputable person who knows exactly what that strain is, that can help you out. Or if you're dealing usually with compassion clubs, they'll have a variety of weeds, and you can try. It's a good place to try some different types to find out what's works best.